get ready to throw down.
And our throwdown today, sponsored by.
What are we throwing down on? I guess.
Well,
either
okay.
one of the two
So,
questions?
look, the thing is, one of the things that we talk about constantly is personality assessment.
Yeah.
We talked about that the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you're trying to differentiate yourself from your competitors, building that upfront rapport, trust, leadership skills, like it's all in there, right? People trust you because they think that you are the leader of your group and they're the leader of their group, so you want to do business together. I mean, that's kind of the hierarchy of trust, in my opinion. So we're talking a lot about assessing the person across from you, making judgments on what you think of them, not what other people have told you about them, right? So that can really go down a dangerous path of when you accept everybody else's opinions and you run with it. So form your own opinions. Do your homework, as Nan was saying the last few minutes, is do your homework on things that are acceptable. Even Doc hit to it as business practice of, formal greetings. What do they like to see? That's all good stuff, right? But form your own opinions at the table. Really look at who you're talking to next door, across the table from you or on the phone, and just say, okay, this guy operates in this world. You know DISC, or you should know DISC, and if you don't, we'll get to that later, right? But know who you are, know who the person is across from you, and operate in the terms that are agreeable. And that goes with whether it's the first conversation you ever have or the last conversation you ever have.
Okay. Al?
Along the same lines, you're going to gather some information along the way, or you wouldn't be sitting at the table to have that big dinner with 3 or 4 people. There's one decision maker, and if you don't know enough about him, you're going to have to use other people until you meet him to get your information. They will give you the information from their point of view as to how they relate to that individual, meaning the decision maker. At that point, listen, like Nan said, which is the biggest part of communication, to what they say, and then match it to what you see when the guy walks in, sits down at the table. And from there, call bullshit on them or agree that they've made a decent assessment of the guy that they set in front of you, and this is going to be easier rather than harder. That they don't fear the guy, that they don't loathe the guy, that they're not propping something up. So it's smoke and mirrors sometimes. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's straightforward, just like they said. But your job, if you're good and you want to be good, is to decide all that in a very short period of time. As you're conversing, as you're deciding whether there's after dinner drinks or whether you're just drinking coffee and getting the hell out of there and scheduling another meeting, or you're going for the no or the yes right there at the table.
Nanette?
So I think we're all basically going to say pretty much the same thing with this question, but I think whether you're talking about business or relationships like marriage or you're with your children, I think it's really important to understand who you are. Clint said that, and I went, yeah, exactly. If you don't know who you are, then you're batting with. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You're playing golf and you're playing with one club. If you can understand, you figure out who you are, have confidence in that, and then understand who you're working with, then you can get a symbiotic relationship going no matter what the DISC is, whether be it you and what they are, and you can be successful, be it, in marriage or with your kids or with business, because if you don't know how to deal with people and understand people out of love, I don't even think it's out of smoke and mirrors. I think it's just really how you deal with each other. I think it's vital. I think it's really important. I love that we're discussing this, and I hope that you find value in this and that you want to find out, because it's so about life. It's so cool. I love it.
Well, okay. I'm going to go the opposite way, that because I know that everyone's expecting me to say research, plan.
Yeah.
But as C's, it's so easy to get lost in. I need it to be perfect, and I need every detail, and it's got to be just perfect. And that's a lot of pressure. And so I kind of take the Clint approach, but not with the same thought process of, I'm not going to spend too much time researching because I can uncover the majority of that in a quick conversation. and get to knowing to where I need to go to have the best conversation that I can. And that keeps me from spending 4 or 5 hours researching and trying to perfect it. And then because that can lead to having too much of a plan. And then if that doesn't go according to the way you want it to, then the whole meeting is shot. So Clint and I are kind of on the same page there. But I know that everyone's expecting me to say, oh, I spent 17 hours going through spreadsheets and everything else about people before I meet them, but that's just not the case because it's not good time.
Now, what's a spreadsheet? No.
Yeah.
I'll leave you with a little cliffhanger. And what is perfect? Perfect is, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Signing on the line, which is done.
All right.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, y'all.